I'm Raghunath Mashelkar, chemical engineer by profession. I have been a research scientist. I have headed the CSIR, Council of Scientific Industrial Research, a chain of 40 laboratories with over 20,000 people for almost 11 years. Currently, I'm the chairman of the National Innovation Foundation and also Global Research Alliance.
You know, if I look at each entrepreneurial opportunity, there are many ways to create some sort of lead time or a way to be self-existent. One of them obviously is innovation, which you're looking at. What role does intellectual property play in innovation to create a startup that's long-lasting?
I believe it plays an enormous role. As a matter of fact, I was in Harvard as a visiting professor just in the month of October. Went to George Whiteside's lab. He's the highest cited scientist in the world, a great scholar, but at the same time, the companies that he has floated based on his research in Harvard, the market capitalization is more than $30 billion. Now, you can imagine Saraswati and Lakshmi coexisting. How does it coexist? Because he created intellectual property, he created patents based on the research and innovation that he had done. And it is on the basis of that that he built the enterprises. I think there is a big lesson for all of us in India. What is intellectual property? Intellectual property rights actually are given to you for a new idea that you generate, which is capable of commercial exploitation, but which at the same time has the attributes of novelty, non-obviousness and utility. And therefore, if you generate such an idea, you can have its exclusive rights for up to 20 years as per the laws by securing patents for yourself and using them to create wealth. Unfortunately, just as there is a prevalence of illiteracy in India, there is patent illiteracy in India. What does patent illiteracy mean? Patent illiteracy means ability to read and write a patent. Ability to read means you read a patent in such a way that you can bypass and create your own new property. Ability to write is in such a way that nobody can bypass you. And unfortunately, this is a training that we do not have. That's number one. Number two, when we get a breakthrough idea, we quickly try to rush and publish a paper. But the moment a research paper is published, it is in public domain. And then you cannot claim rights on that. And therefore, when I was the director of National Chemical Laboratory, I remember I changed the rules of the game. I said not publish or perish, but patent, publish and prosper. All right? You have to first have your own rights for patenting, then only you can publish it, and then you can prosper. And that has made such a difference, basically. We were able to license out our patents to even companies like General Electric, who are multinational companies. One of the things that has not happened in India to the extent that it should have happened is creation of what I might like to call as technopreneurship. What does technopreneurship mean? It is entrepreneurship which is not based on trade, but based on technology. And technology on which you have rights of your own, which you have protected by intellectual property rights. So many biotech entrepreneurs, many information technology entrepreneurs that you see in the US, etc., they are actually based on such a fundamental. I was in Cambridge recently in Judge Business School giving the inaugural BP lecture. And I went to their Cambridge Park, and it is incredible, the research professors up there, basically, the way they have created enterprise. I met Sir Richard Friend, for example. He has created organic light emitting diodes of the future. He has floated companies of his own. In India, you do not see in academic institutions, whether they are IITs or other institutes of technologies or institute of science, such entrepreneurs coming up. And therefore, we need to create a national innovation ecosystem in which these entrepreneurs will grow. Incubation centers where ideas can be incubated, they could be prototyped, they could be taken forward. Venture capital support that they will get, and that venture capital has to be at venture capital in terms of early stage financing of a potentially great new idea. We need to create funds where risks are taken, like the New Millennium Indian Technology Leadership Initiative that I had created when I was Director General of CSIR, where more than 100 private sector companies and 250 institutions partnered together and new products started coming up. Like Mobilis came up, like breakthrough on psoriasis came up, like breakthrough on tuberculosis drug, which cures TB not in 6 to 8 months, but 2 months came up, and so on and so forth. And that was all risk financing by the government at that time, in a sense that they gave money to private sector on a national cause. If it works, that's fine, you return the money. If it doesn't work, the money is written off. I believe you require innovative funding mechanisms of that kind. Then only technopreneurship in India will grow. So I would like to enlarge this entrepreneurship issue to say that the new Ambanis of this world, the new Tatas of this world will be created by creating new ideas which are breakthrough. I mean, idea-based enterprises are not unknown. I mean, you look at Hotmail, it was just an idea, but Samir Bhatia was able to create an enterprise out of it and license it out. I mean, finally when his company was sold, he became a millionaire. Why don't we have more Samir Bhatiyas? Why do we have those Samir Bhatiyas only in US? Why don't we have them here? It's because this fundamental of creating new breakthrough ideas that are new, not only to India but to the world, and then protecting them through proper intellectual property rights is something that has not been done as well as it should have been done. And I believe a time has come when we talk about innovative India, entrepreneurial India, technopreneurial India, we become strong in terms of the culture of creation of new ideas, protection of new ideas, and exploitation of those new ideas for India's good, not for the good of the world.